Hi everyone, how are you? I am so excited about an interview that I am about to have with the beautiful Nicole Clark. She's sitting next to me right now. Nicole, if you were to describe like the importance of creativity in your life, how would you tell everyone what that is? Tell them a little piece of what they're about to hear.
Oh my goodness. It is how I live and breathe. I have to be creative. I'm on this earth to create and encourage. And so I love that. I'm so excited about it.
Yes, and you light up when you talk about creativity. So stay tuned. You're going to hear a lot about her wonderful story. Welcome to the Dallas Culture Club podcast. For those who seek to create meaningful connections with other purpose-driven locals in a more authentic relationship with yourself. I'm your host, Carrie Horn, founder of Passion Dallas Media. And through these talks with my incredible guests and my own life experiences, I'm going to show you that the secret to building a more connected and joyful life is through your conversations and cultural experiences. Come on, let's dive in. Hey Dallas, we are super excited to be back with you today for episode 2, season 1 of the Dallas Culture Club podcast. On the podcast, you have the opportunity to hear stories of local creative leaders who are shaping the culture of our city. And today we have a very special guest. Nicole Clark is the ultimate creative. From dancing on the stage with Justin Timberlake to building multiple creative-based businesses, Nicole adds love and light into our city through her dedication to serve. Without further ado, let's listen in to my fantastic conversation with the called and encouraged Nicole Clark. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. Nicole, I have been waiting to have this one-on-one conversation with you, and I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you're just, you've done so many amazing things throughout the course of your career, and you are a true creative. And I think that like selfishly, I've come to this point where I realize like how badly I need creativity in my life. And I've really realized that it's a practice, that you don't just get it. And that it goes away, and that can be fleeting, and you have to practice. And so I'm so glad to be with somebody that really has stayed in that practice. And I can't wait to like tell the whole story of how you came to be. So talk about, I know that you said you're from Arlington. Talk about growing up and what your parents were like and childhood and all of that kind of great stuff.
My parents, I just love them so much. They were really just so amazing. They were so kind. I love to say that people would describe our family as the Huxtables. Like we were the Cosby Show for sure. Always having fun. My dad is always making up songs, and we're all singing and dancing and performing. But I am the true performer of the family. Just had to clear that up. But we had a great family growing up. A lot of fun. I'm the oldest of 2 siblings, and I have a brother and a sister, and we had fun. We had a fun. That's how I think the best way I can describe it is we had a lot of fun.
How much do you think that being in a family where it sounds like a very accepting environment, where there was a lot of love and again, humor and things like that, how much of that do you think has helped you in your journey creatively?
Oh, I think it has helped me so much. Something though that you kind of pulled out that I was reminded of is that we had a lot of fun, but it was a very critical home. Oh. And so that is for sure where me being a performer, that's kind of where the people pleasing, that approval thing, kind of came in. And so I would say that maybe helped me continue to be creative, and we'll talk about this later, but definitely older, that put a hold on my creativity because I was just so worried about what is everybody else going to think and what are they going to say? Yeah.
Okay. So you had the fun time, but there was certain expectation that was there for you guys.
Yes.
And you had to meet it. Where do you think the the criticism came from? Like, what do you think because I think as we get older, we look back and we go, all right, you're raising children now. You have a beautiful daughter, which I can't wait to get into, Delaney, but you see it differently, right? Like you see kind of the reasons that your parents did what they did. Sometimes there's a little more resentment that I feel like that comes with it too. Like I've hit that piece, but yeah. What do you think it was like? What caused that?
I know for sure that it was the way that my parents were raised, that was just kind of the norm, you know, for them, which then they shared that with us. And so was it horrible all of the time? No, right. You know, but yes, like, do I have maybe a scar or two from, you know, all of the criticism? Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I get that. You're trying to be all things to all people when it's that way.
Yes. Yeah. I remember even this was just a couple of weeks ago. Again, I just turned 40 and my sweet
happy birthday.
and my sweet grandfather, he is like in his upper 90s. My mom is going to be like, how do you not remember? He's 90 something. And we were going to go see him just to, you know, show him some love. His health is declining. And I really was like in the mirror for so long being like, my hair, what's my outfit? I was like, I cannot have Papa criticize what I'm wearing and what I look like. And then I was like, wait a second, I'm an adult. It is okay. I am myself. I don't have to do any of those things. He loves me no matter what. I'm okay. You know?
Wow.
So even having kind of that quick reminder of like, oh no, I don't want to be criticized. I don't want anyone to think this way or that way. You know, I had to quickly pull myself out of that.
Yeah, I get that. I get that sometimes like we respond to things and we think about it later too, where we go, wait a second, like I felt uncomfortable in that moment, and it happens with family too. Why? And then you peel back the layers to figure out kind of exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
How did you get to the point where dancing, because I know that your craft in dancing was sort of like your first production piece, if you will, like the performance piece of your life. How did you get into dancing to begin with? And
I just remember dancing at 2 and 3 years old. As soon as I could move and get on that stage, I needed to get on the stage. You know, at home with my sweet family, the fireplace was my stage. You know, I would jump up there and just dance. And so I'm so glad that my mom saw those gifts in me and that she decided to, you know, cultivate those and put me in dance classes. And so that's just kind of how it started. And I just loved it. That was I felt like that was the only place where I was free, that I could be my true self, and I did not have to cover or hide anything about who I was as a person.
Yeah. Isn't it funny that like certain crafts just appeal to certain people? I wanted to be a solid gold dancer when I was a little girl. And I, just like you, it was like the thing that I constantly was doing. And I agree. There's something about the creativity and the movement. And still to this day, when I watch dance, it gets me. Like my tears and the crying and not every dance, but when you see some of these people just unbelievably talented. So it does have this certain emotionality to it. It takes you away.
It does. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I love dance so much. Because again, whatever you are kind of going through inside, it's like all of those emotions can just come out through your dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally see that. So you're going through your now older childhood years and you're getting into high school, and you said that something changed in you. You found another craft.
I'm so embarrassed to say this. Okay. I don't know why, but when I went into high school, I stopped dancing to be a cheerleader. And maybe that's where the approval thing, again, maybe I just wanted to be liked. That was the popular thing to do, was to become a cheerleader. And so that's what I did. I stopped dancing, and it had a great run. You know, for those few years.
Did you cheer the whole time in high school?
Yes. Yeah. The whole time.
4 years.
Yes. Okay. Carrie. Okay. Let me tell you the story. Oh, man. Okay. I did not make it. I think it was my junior year. I was the only one that did not make it. So that was like a whole thing. Yeah. That all of my sweet friends, my teammates, they were all on the team. But for some reason, I didn't make it. Anyway, fast forward. We're not even going to go there. And then my senior year, I made it. And so then I'm realizing, okay, cheerleading maybe is not my jam. It's not my thing. I was like, Mom, I want to dance. I want to dance again. And so again, my sweet mom, she, looked up where can I go for the best lessons in dance. And we found Dallas Powerhouse. And my sweet mom, she drove me all the way from Arlington to Dallas so many days during the week so I could train.
That's crazy.
Yes, so crazy. I can't believe she did that.
But she obviously saw something in you. She saw your talent and supported you. And that's was important to her. I mean, obviously, because you don't take that drive.
Right, because that's a drive.
Amazing.
Yes, yeah. And so there I met the most amazing people, dancers, dance instructors, just being involved in that environment. It just sparked something in me that I had no clue existed. And so I did that for a little bit. My mom is driving me, then she's finally letting me drive, on my own. And one day, a handful of dance teachers, they say, we're moving to Los Angeles. We're going to pursue our dance career and we're moving to LA.
How old are you at this time?
I think I'm 18 or 19.
Okay.
And
very young.
In listening to them, I thought, no way. You can do that? You can do that? You can move somewhere and be on television and do music videos and do tours. I had no clue. That just was not, I wasn't exposed to that. So I didn't know. And as soon as they said that, I was like, I have to do that. That is who I'm supposed to be. Like, I have to do it. And I love this. I'm going to back up just a little bit because I'm at Powerhouse. And during that time, again, I'm getting private lessons. My mom is getting me ready to try out for dance team in college. I'm supposed to go to Stephen F. Austin.
Wow.
Like, ready. I am all the things ready to go. I auditioned for Stephen F. Austin. For some reason, I did not make it. I don't know. I don't even know why. I mean, I think it was for sure a God thing, but I did not make it. And that is when Dallas Powerhouse was like, hey, come on staff with us, train, work, do all of the things. And so that's how I really got plugged in with them. And after that, was exposed to, hey, I can move to California.
That's amazing. What I remember about that studio, because that studio was like the place, but it was a true dancer, artist studio. Like, yes. I remember taking a few classes as an adult. My biggest problem with dance is I cannot follow choreography. I don't have the brain capacity to literally be able to follow along. But, and so I took a few classes and I couldn't do it. But the people that were in there, the talent that was in that studio was
amazing. Yeah.
It was like being with the best of the best at the time. So I can I can feel that, like, that you're sitting there and you're with these like true artists. I remember the pictures on the wall and the whole thing, right? And what they had done, and they're all their biography, their bios underneath it. And it's funny because you talk about like you're 18, 19 years old, like you've got freedom, right? Like freedom that we don't have anymore for many reasons.
Yes.
But, there's something in that innocence, right? And in that freedom where you can literally just go, oh, you can do that? I didn't know that. And jump on the bandwagon. Mm-hmm. And maybe you wouldn't have done that at a different time, right?
I know.
Like now if it happened, you'd be like, wait a second, hold on.
Yeah. I know. I would have probably thought of all of the things why, all of the reasons why I could not do it. But I jumped on and I think I maybe went feet first and just said, I want this. This is the life that I see for myself. And so those amazing dance instructors, they all moved to Los Angeles. And I just remember going back to my mom and dad and saying, hey, I'm moving to LA. And they said, absolutely not. You are not going. And I said, well, I have withdrawn from school. I've withdrawn from college. I have a full-time job. I'm going to work until I raise X amount of dollars and then I'm out of here. And my sweet family, I can't believe they said this. They said, okay, we support you. We'll match whatever you save and we'll get you out there. We'll move you out to California.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
How long did it take? Do you remember?
I don't think very long. It was possibly a year, but I took that year to really train and to really just figure out, a little bit. I'm super young, but still trying to figure out who I am as a person, who I am as a dancer, taking all of the classes, training, just trying to get in shape and just being like, okay, this is the goal. I've got to meet it.
I love that so much.
Yes.
It's incredible. And it's incredible to, I have a daughter now that's, she's about to be 18. So she's at that stage of life where she's leaving the nest. And she's a beautiful, amazing child. But I see that sense of self that she's trying to develop, right? And really how it's all about her.
Yes.
But there's so much beauty in that. Sometimes we look at that and we're like, oh, it's selfish. But actually, it's something that I think we miss as adults. Because now all the responsibility, all of the things we have to do, the checks we have to make, the boxes we have to fill, the money we have to make, it colors all of our decisions, right?
It does.
And you had this like almost visceral response, like I have to do this, and you followed it. You set a goal. Your gut said, this is who I am. I mean, no questions, no what ifs.
Yeah.
And in a year's time, changed your entire life in the most creative way, because then the story gets really good.
So moved to Los Angeles, and yes, I had a really awesome career, but it was hard.
Yeah.
It was so hard, especially at first. Again, I'm the oldest. I really did live a very sheltered but great life, and I had it's all about me complex as well. And so
you're supposed to at that age.
I know. And so me in this huge city, I mean, technically really by myself, minus the few people that I knew, but I am, trying to pursue this dance career. I'm going on auditions. I'm doing all of these, going on dance auditions, commercial auditions, only hearing the word no for, I don't know, 12 months, hearing the word no. And that did something for sure to me, because I was like, this is what I do. Like, this is who I am. I'm a dancer. Like, why am I not being chosen for these things? It was really hard for me to accept. It was hard for me to grasp that whole Los Angeles world for sure. And I was like, where am I? What have I done? I was a little lost for a moment.
Sure.
And I just remember, okay, do you remember Contempo Casuals?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I worked at Contempo Casuals, and one day I was just like, I can't keep working here. If I'm going to pursue my dance career, I can't continue to do it because I'm getting called for auditions, but I'm at work, and like I'm just going to resign. And so, my parents are like, no plan, zero plan. My parents are like, I don't know if that's the wise choice. And I'm like, but I need to just see if I can pursue this thing. So I resign. And really, it seems like it was the next day, maybe a couple of days later, my mentor, my first, my dance teacher that moved out, called and said, hey, Nicole, Justin Timberlake, he's going solo. Are you ready? And I was like, yeah, of course. Yes, I am ready to dance, be a backup dancer for him. This is amazing. Absolutely.
I can't freaking believe that. I really
it's
cannot.
So crazy. Yeah.
But again, it's like they say, but it's different to experience. Like they say, but somehow you knew that you needed to step out of your own way,
yes,
basically, and open up to the world. But how fast the universe responds to that with oh, it's just Justin Timberlake. I mean, he was at the top of his game.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Like he was the only thing that mattered in this world at that time was JT.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Like, first, how old are you at this point?
I think I'm 19.
You're still
maybe
really young.
20.
Like he probably wasn't that much older than you.
Oh yeah, no, we were really close. Yeah, we were really close in age, and that was so much fun.
Oh.
It was so much fun. Everything that you could possibly imagine and more. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. It was a lot of fun. I think the best thing or the great experience for me is that everyone was so much older, you know, and it was like they had worked almost their entire careers for that moment. And that was like my first job. You know, it was like my first real tour dancing job, music video. And so I'm just like a deer in headlights in everything. I'm like, where are we going? What do we do? You know, I was so excited. This is like when, you know, video cameras, I had my video camera everywhere. So I have the most amazing footage of just like, we're driving in the car, we're going to this performance, we're going to this practice. It was amazing to see the world. And, you know, and so no, I did not go, you know, spend 4 years in college, but I always say I went to the Justin Timberlake University, and that showed me so much of the world and real life circumstances, how to deal with money, tax. I mean, you name it. I had to, do that at such a young age because I was like, oh my goodness, we're making all of this money. What do I, you know, it just was an awesome experience.
So how do you describe being up on a stage with like millions of fans screaming at you guys every night? Like, what does that feel like?
It is so great. Like I can picture it right now. It's so peaceful to me because that's where I come alive. Like that is just like my space. You know, I'm doing a lot better now, but I grew up so quiet and such a shy kid. And so even during this dance, me being on stage with Justin, you know, before people would meet me, I mean, I was like, I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to say anything. And I'm just like, don't even look at me. Just ignore me. And then when I would step on stage, I'm like, boom, I came alive. And people were like, who are you? This cannot be the same person that we just were sitting next to that didn't say a single word, but then was up there shining so bright. And so it's just, that's like my place. That's where I come alive.
Surreal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny though. They say that, I mean, like, you know, Beyonce has her whole Sasha Fierce, you know, example, like where a lot of times it seems like the people that are up on the stage that are performers have a completely different persona when they walk off that stage.
Yes.
I've always wondered what that is, but I guess you can't be on all the time, no matter who you are. Mm-hmm. So, you know, probably a lot of people that are extroverts would be really nervous on the stage and would like, and you know, would shriek at it. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
So interesting.
I know, it's so awesome. And you said Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. And again, I was so young. I was very impressionable. So, I mean, you can imagine, you know, I spent my 21st birthday in Vegas on the stage. It was so crazy. And so my person that people would call me was Anna Nicole. Do you remember Anna Nicole? I have not said that in so long.
May she rest in peace.
Right?
No, really?
But yes. Yeah. So when I was like enjoying myself and having a great time, people would be like, oh, Anna Nicole is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you think that prepared you for life as that? And let's start here. Like, what was it like coming down from that?
Ooh.
Like, really? Like, I wonder about these celebs and these people and like this abnormal response in life that they receive, even like social media influencers and just that height. Mm-hmm. And then life goes normal.
Right.
And then what?
It was pretty awful. Yeah, it was awful. So tour was amazing. Had a few bumps in the road, especially with, you know, some really close friends of mine. And so that really changed my career. And I wish that it didn't. I wish, you know, I would have made more wise choices for sure. You know, I like to say I was under the influence during that part of my life. I was under the influence of other people. You know, again, I was so young and I was just like, oh, we're going here, we're doing this, we're doing that, you know, not thinking like, oh, wait, I have my own brain. I have my own voice. I can speak up, and just things like that. So tons of relationships were ruined. And I like to say, I really almost was like excommunicated from this group of people. Again, at fault of my actions, for sure. I'm going to take responsibility for that. And it was like, I didn't have anything. Yeah. I didn't have anybody. And so I had to really start over, and which was devastating to me. Yeah, it was so painful. I didn't have my friends who I just did this amazing tour with. My best friends, are no longer my best friends. And I can't work, because, my name is being thrown around in the mud. I can't get in any more dance jobs. I'm not working. So I'm getting a job at a retail place and just trying to make ends meet. And it just didn't work out.
And you're in LA.
Yes. Yeah. In Los Angeles. And so after tour, of course, from having like an amazing lifestyle, I moved, I lived in an apartment with 2 other roommates. After tour, I moved into a place all by myself. Why I did that, I don't know. I just like, I've got money, I can live by myself. So then I have to get a roommate. And, I have to say, I really do believe that God just made it so horrible. Like he made it so horrible for me that I had no other choice but to go home. Like he was telling, very, very, showing me clear signs that my run was up, my time was up, and I needed to go back and do something else. But I was just like, no, I'm going to stick it out. And I would be in positions where I would have no money. I would have no food, nothing. And he just was like, I felt like he's like, okay, Nicole,
we're going to string you out until you get
this. Yeah. And so I was like, oh man, I have to go home. I have to go home. And so again, my amazing parents, I hope I'm an amazing parent like my parents.
Oh girl, come on.
But they moved me. They moved me home. Yeah. They found a moving company. And so like put my car on the truck and moved all of my stuff and bought a plane ticket for me and got me home.
They were probably so relieved to have you back, mind you. I mean, it's got to have been difficult on them when you're like all over the place. Yes. And they're like, where's my baby girl? Mm-hmm. She's 18. She's 19.
Yes.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for being so open and vulnerable. I mean, that is a lot to go through when you're young. Mm-hmm. Isn't it interesting that like you can have this idea of the way that your life is supposed to be?
Yes.
And it can be so devastating to change. Mm-hmm. But I bet when you look back on it now, it's right.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Like you probably wouldn't be dancing on tour with Justin Timberlake today, right? Or would you? Justin?
Hello. I think for sure life now, it is exactly what it is supposed to be. And I've learned so many amazing lessons. But yes, in the mix of all of that, I was on tour and danced with a lot of, again, other professional dancers who had, they were dancing with Janet Jackson and had been like with Janet forever. And so I would always compare myself and say, hey, I'm going to be like this person. Right. I'm going to be dancing with Justin forever on all of his tours, on all of everything. And then it was like, no, no, you're not.
Right.
And so to get through that was a challenging, very difficult, very dark season of, that I walked through.
Yeah, I can feel that. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of change and that's a lot of disappointment.
Yes.
And listen, you hit it big and then all of a sudden you're starting over. That'd be tough on anybody at any age, but when you're that young.
Yes.
And so LA is hard.
I know. LA is so hard.
It's just, I love LA. I've been there many, many times, but it's hard. It's, it'll make you or it'll break you.
Yes. And both.
And both.
Yes.
So you go through this season and talk about how you get to a point where you meet Darren and your life begins to change differently.
Yes.
The next part of the creative journey.
Well, again, went through some dark
years.
Yes. Just depression, anxiety, just really trying to crawl my way back to, being myself, even just a little bit. And so, I love to say this because really God saved my story, because my story could have been really lost, especially if I would have stayed in that season of nothing and thinking that I was nothing. But he really came in and saved and rescued my story. And allowed me to have a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, a millionth chance. And so just from that, I started working and kind of getting back into the dance business because still at that time, that was my passion. It's what I loved. And coming still from a big tour like that, no one else in Dallas was able to say that they were a backup dancer for Justin Timberlake. So I was like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. Let me go and, dip my foot in the water again. And so I got a job at Dallas Powerhouse again, and just started teaching and working and really just sharing those things that I learned out on the road and out in California with younger students and with other adults, and just had such a great time. And then that's when I met Darren, which was so much fun.
Dancing? Did you take dance classes?
I know. I wish. No. Okay. So again, another part of my life, but I thought I was going to be a Mavericks dancer. I also thought I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
Sure, of course.
But I have too many tattoos for both of those things. But I really thought that I was going to be a Mavericks dancer. And so my trainer, she would train all of these awesome dancers at the Dallas Powerhouse and said, hey, I'm not going to be at Powerhouse anymore. I'm going to move to Power Play Fitness. And we're all like, Power Play Fitness? What is that? And so I was like the only one that followed her because I'm like, hey, I've got to get in shape for the Mavericks. And one day working out, and she's like, hey, Nicole, meet Darren.
Stop it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yes. And so I met Darren, also met another trainer, Melanie. And I'm on like the elliptical or something. And so it was just like the very quick just introduction. And then that was it. And I had no idea. I was just like, okay, cool. Hi.
I love that so much. Mm-hmm. So in comes this like manly man.
Yes.
Wonderful manly man into your life who's at a different stage of life, mind you, and in a different arena and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And so how was the love born? How was the love born? Because the love leads to the story of your entrepreneurship journey, really.
It really does. I don't know. It was just like one day we decided, after seeing each other several times in the gym, we exchanged numbers and just decided to go out. We said, let's go out for dinner, or let's go out for lunch, and let's go out for dinner. Okay. And for Darren, he was like, okay, I've gotten all the things that I need to know. No need to go to dinner. I was like, oh, that stinks, but really it was just, that was kind of the start of our relationship, and just started to really grow closer and closer together. And just, I don't know, a lot of people would think that we don't work, because we're 21 years up, apart from each other, but it's like we get each other, you know, and he's such a great man and has done so much just for my mindset and the way that I look at life. I remember this story like it was yesterday. This, kind of starting into that creativity. I'm doing more things with dance. More people are asking me to do more things that are really outside of my wheelhouse and my realm. And something wasn't working right. And I was like in a fetal position, like crying and just like, I'm not going to be able to pull this off. And Darren was just like, you have 60 more seconds of that. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you have 60 more seconds to be in the fetal position. And then let's think through what is going to happen next. Like, how can we fix the problem? How can we keep it moving? And I'm like, oh, okay, you're right. So I'm like, I dry my tears, and he's like helping me figure out the problem. And that really is like our thing. Even to this day, I know that I can always go to him with like the craziest thing, dance, entrepreneurship, whatever, something in business, and just say, hey, can I bounce this idea off of you? And he's just like, he's my rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. Yeah. I love your relationship. I love the way that you navigate life together, and it's a pleasure to watch. So I can attest to that, to the fact that you guys work
Yes. Yeah.
At least from my vision.
It wasn't always easy.
Of course
You know,
not.
it wasn't always easy, but it just, you know, we decided to put God first, and then we decided to put each other first, and then just kind of go from there. And so, I'm really thankful. I'm thankful for him and for our relationship and marriage, because, you know, of course there were those moments where I wasn't sure we were going to make it. And so thankful that we're still going.
Oh yeah. Listen, anybody that says marriage is easy is a liar. Right.
For real.
Doesn't matter. You marry the love of your life. It's still difficult, especially with children involved and everything that life throws at you.
Yes.
So it would be, plus it'd be boring, right? It just like worked. The fairy tale sounds good.
Yes.
Talk about 12 Ministries and how that was born, because I know there's a very emotional story to that, but that's really when your journey towards being an entrepreneur began.
Yes. So
just started a ministry.
I know, just started a ministry. And really, my dad and my brother, they are just big entrepreneurs. They love business. Like, it just like makes them tick. I love it so much. And so I have probably started or tried to start probably 10 different businesses, you know, because I'm like, I want to do something. And so, you know, that has always been on my heart, to do something. And then, you know, it's just like, okay, well, what is that thing going to be? You know, really just doing so many things, like grabbing at so many things. And so I'm at a dance studio. I'm their manager, having a great time. And I just feel this just like tug, like I need to be doing something else. I really want to just be working in ministry. Like, that's what I want to do. But still not really knowing, you know, what that thing is. And I want to talk about Delaney really quick. And so sweet Delaney, she really is our miracle baby. Because, you know, we finally decide like, yes, we're going to start a family. We're going to expand our family. Darren is an only child from an only child. And so for him, he's like, Huxtables, no, go away. You know, and for me, I'm like, I have 2 other siblings. Like, we've got to start a family. And for Darren, he's like, I'm good. You know, I have you, we're good. And so we finally get on the same page and start to, you know, we're like, hey, we're going to expand our family. In that, it's like a whole year. And, you know, when you're trying to start a family, your doctors, after that 12-month period, it's like they move you in a different box, they move you in a different category. And that's kind of where we got moved to. And so I was telling Darren, I was like, hey, you've got to go get tested. I've got to go get tested. Like, we've got to see what's happening. And he was like, nope. I was like, you know, I'm a toddler right now. I'm like, I want to have a baby.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he was like, if God wants us to have a baby, Nicole, it's going to happen. Like, he's like, just rest, just relax. And I'm like, no. And then really month 13, maybe it was month 14, we got pregnant with Delaney and had Delaney. And so she really is just like our miracle baby. We love her. She's so awesome. She's just like the most perfect mix of both Darren and I think she has my heart. She has her daddy's heart too, but just that big personality, just loves people. That's all her dad, you know? And so now Delaney's getting a little bit older, and I'm just like, hey, I really like, we've got to get a sibling for Delaney. Darren's like, nope. I'm good.
Ooh,
I'm like, okay.
Here we go again.
Yeah. Basically, here we go again.
Yeah.
And I remember this too. We were at some restaurant for our anniversary. And, you know, I'm thinking like, we're going to have this big talk, you know, of just like, yes, we're going to expand our family. And, you know, that was when Darren's like, no, I love our family. I love just, you know, it was 4 of us because we used to have a little dog. Yeah. And it was just Darren, Delaney, myself, and our sweet little dog. And he's like, this family's perfect. We don't need to expand our family. And I was like, oh, just, you know, crushed. And a little bit went by, and I love this part because Darren, he comes to me and he's like, hey, I've been sitting on something, but I didn't want to tell you. I'm like, what? And he's like, hey, I have a feeling, you know, that I'm supposed to tell you to stop taking your birth control. And I'm like, yes, woo, you know, thinking that it's all about me. This is going to work out perfectly for me. And immediately, I like to say, I went temporarily insane. And it was like, we were not getting pregnant. And so I was doing everything. I was like, okay, remove the toxins from the home, exercise, eat clean, try keto, do this, do that, wives' tale. I really did every single thing. Went to the doctor. He's like, hey, we can do surgery. We can do like a laparoscopic surgery. Let's, see what's going on. Find out that I have endometriosis. Yeah. And so it's just, that was just such a crazy time. I was just going. And I was also working at Bar 3 at the time. And so that was like filling my creativity, and so had the surgery, actually ended up not being able to teach anymore because that really made me feel worse. They weren't able to remove all of the endometriosis. I'm feeling, not great. And nothing was really working. And so just kind of in that season of stillness and in that quiet season was when I felt that that's when I needed to start something, is that what I went through is just kind of that infertility, early pregnancy loss, like early miscarriage of just, where are the resources? Right. Where's the community? Where, and walking through that, I was realizing that there is nothing, I couldn't find anything that could help me along this journey. And so that's where 1212 came from. It was just my experience in infertility and pregnancy loss. And so that I'm like, it's not the best, topic. Some days I'm like, I wish it was something a little lighter, but that I just love that ministry, and it allows me to, one, be myself. It allows me to speak honestly about what goes on, with women so often that it's barely talked about, and also just creating a place and a space, a safe space for women to go to when they're walking through that.
Yeah.
And I love my husband so much, and he struggled a little bit because he didn't know what to do with me, during those times, when I'm like, I can't get out of bed. I'm mourning this child that we're not having. And, and he's like, oh, Nicole, he didn't know how to help me, except for hold my hand, and so just coming out of that awful season really just was, I didn't get a physical baby, but I was able to birth a ministry and a nonprofit. So.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And honestly, like, I totally agree. Like, I think there's so much put on women as this is what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And having children is one of them. And when we're not able to do that, or we have a hard time or whatever, we feel like failures.
Yes. Yep.
Or, now it becomes an obsession,
mm-hmm.
which I'm sure
yes.
is easy to talk about now, but was probably horrific when you guys were going through it.
Yes.
I'm sure the emotional
mm-hmm.
essence in that household was quite difficult.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it's something that like only women can understand for women, because
mm-hmm.
it's, it's something that happens to our bodies, and I think we have a different pressure.
Yes.
Than men typically do. It's not always the case. I think it's amazing that you created that. I think it's amazing that you created something so important out of so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know there was a lot of pain to get to that place.
There was a lot of pain. Yes. I mean, even still, I guess, I don't know, we are going on maybe our 5th year of just 1212 Ministries. And it's still hard because I do still have that desire in my heart to expand our family, and so to still, have that desire, it's just like, okay, we're still going,
right.
But
right.
It's okay. It is okay. And I get to express myself in all of those creative ways that I love just in this ministry.
I love that you said that so much, because John and I have talked about this a lot lately about like business is born out of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that there's like these boxes and people say, okay, creatives over on the left,
yes.
or, different side actually, but like, creatives over on the right and business people on the left. And it's like the two shall not meet. And the truth
mm-hmm.
of the matter is that creativity is the essence of all business
Yes.
of really anything that is born.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whether it's that we want to have children or whatever, there's got to be that creative element. So I love that you called it a creative endeavor because it's very much about helping women. What has it been like though, to take really an extraordinary amount of pain really throughout the course of your life and be able to actually like impact people? Because I think this impact word gets thrown around a lot and everybody wants to have impact.
Yes.
But you really are having impact. Like that's you are changing people's lives even by getting them together and being able to mourn together, whatever it is that you get to give back.
I know I did a ton of just really searching just who I am and who I am at the core. And I love this because what I found out was that I'm on this earth to create and to encourage. Like those are my things. That's why I'm here. And so that's how I'm going to use my gifts and my talents just to make an impact and to influence. And so if I'm doing those two things, I'm good. You know, like now I used to be really picky. Now I'm just like, it doesn't matter. If I get to create and encourage, I'm doing them. And it's just such a huge part of my life. And I want to just do it always, every day.
How have you taken, and the ministry is still strong and a huge part of your life, but how have you taken that and walked towards entrepreneurship in a lot of different ways with Called and Encouraged?
Yes.
I see where the name comes from now, but talk about that.
This was amazing because, and again, it just allowed me to really figure out who I was and what I really love to do. And once I figured that part out, I was just like, okay, how can I help others? You know, because I do consider myself to be a servant leader. I love, helping others. And so I tried to really just take a step back and see where are the spaces that I love to be that give me so much life. And again, that's in creating. And so I was like, okay, digital marketing, graphic design. Okay. I'm also kind of sort of a virtual assistant, which again, I love doing that. And that's really just how it came about because again, I begged to be in ministry. And then I was just like, oh, wait, okay. Total full ministry, maybe not my, not my thing. I worked for, a few amazing churches and just thought, okay, but I still have this passion. I really want to work for myself. Like I know that I'm being called to do this. And so I just kind of made a leap and it's just been incredible to see what the Lord has done with Called and Encouraged. And so we're serving, I don't know, maybe almost 20 clients.
Wow, Nicole.
It's insane.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So so digital marketing and really helping people show their business online. I mean, It's so much deeper than just what the word stands for.
Yes.
So many people have issues with what to post and how to post and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Did you have like lessons and how did you learn how to do it on your own? You just figured it out.
I was going to say it really was like trial and error. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't, really do any sort of training. I think maybe my best training was 1212 Ministries.
Right.
Because I was everything. I was the executive director and president. I was the social media person. I was the person who did I did everything. And so I learned so much just about online and your presence online, social media and things like that. And so I thought I had an okay grip on the industry and what that looked like.
Yeah. And I guess when you're building that business, you're having to build all the graphics and get the look because your websites are great. Like did you do those websites yourself?
Yes.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because they're so like, that gives me just so much life. Like I love it.
I see that. Mm-hmm. It lights you up.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that so much. So what does the future look like as we like today? Because I believe that it shifts and changes. So not to hold you to it, but like if you were to say 5-10 years down the road, this is how my creative path will be going at that time, what would you say?
I love this so much. I can't wait to. Okay. It's a building in the design district. I'm even going to just go there. It's a building in the design district for myself and my husband. And so my part is 1212 Ministries on one side, Called and Encouraged on the other side, with a really cool meeting space in the middle, you know, where we can bring people together and have community. But also there's a space for Darren to train, do his firearm combatives, like all those types of things. But it's in the heart of Dallas. It's like where we love, where we get our energy. And, you know, we are just really refreshed from. And it's just like a space where people can come, that they are seen and loved and cared for, you know. And so that is the vision, is a building where we can just like, again, make an impact.
Oh, that's, I did not expect that. I did not. I don't know what I expected, but I did not expect that. That's so amazing though, because it really, I think it ties into a lot of what we're trying to get across here, which is that it really does matter. Like your environment matters.
Yes.
Like being creatively inspired matters. Like there is, you got to practice it in order to get there. And so just understanding where you feel your best, and then of course bringing people together in order to experience that together, is just like music to my ears. I love that. I can't wait.
I know.
I can't wait to come visit you. What do you have? You picked the building out? Do you know what it looks like?
Yes, I know. I have, but I'm not going to say anything else.
No.
Yeah,
I would never ask.
Yes,
but I just wanted to know if you had the visual.
Oh yes, yeah.
Concept.
I have the full visual concept. I have, you know, my version of the blueprint. You know, just like everything of where it would be and look like, and so.
I love that.
Yeah,
I can't wait till I can get to a point where I can visualize like that. Like you are obviously in your creativity, because when you are, you can take it and expand upon it, and you can visualize. And I love that for you so much. So what is it about the design district that is so meaningful to you?
It's a creative space. It's just where people are going to create. They're making things, you know, and so I don't think our business necessarily really fits exactly, you know, in that spot, but I think it works. Like, there's
so many different kinds of businesses there though now.
Yes.
It's interesting. Like, there's a ton of restaurants, and there's a ton of, like you're saying, there's like, you know, all this warehouse, different styles of businesses. I think it makes perfect sense to put anything there.
Yes.
The design district. Okay. We got it right now. We got it. We got it.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Perfect. Where can people follow you? And I say it like that. I am not a big social media person. You're going to have to help me on that. We're going to have to talk separately and apart, because I don't know. I just don't express myself that way. And I know that that's a fault. But I really think that we want to get people to be able to follow your creative journey. And so how do you do that? You hop on social media and you find them. How can they find you and follow what you're up to?
Well, I am on Facebook and Instagram, but Instagram is my jam. I'm always on Instagram. I love that platform. It's my favorite. And you can find me. I don't know. I feel like I can really be myself in that platform. I think you can do a little bit more with it. And I think the audience and the people that I'm looking for, they are on Instagram.
Definitely.
And I love that platform. And so you can find me at Nicole Hill Clark.
Nicole Hill Clark.
Yes.
We're coming for you.
Yeah.
The world is coming for you. You're so awesome. And you are encouraging and special. And I am so grateful that you sat with me today and shared some time. I can't wait to have more time with you.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks for joining us. Hey, Dallas. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Dallas Culture Club podcast. We know you have a million ways to spend your time, and we are thrilled to have you here with us. We'd love to connect with you. Go to dallascultureclub.com and sign up to join the club. Be the first to receive our latest episodes, invitations to roundtable talks and events, and connect with other local purpose-driven individuals. Go to dallascultureclub.com and join the club today.